you follow the Advaita philosophy, right?
Yes.
So, Guruji, could you please, again, this is something to demystify for all our viewers and myself. What are all these different schools of thought, be it Vedanta or Hinduism? What are the different branches? Which one should a person trying to get into spirituality, which one should they start walking on? And how can we transcend these differences?
A very good question, Abhilasha. Through the course of my study, what I have actually realized and seen is how people are caught up in compartments. They're holding on to their perceptions. Sadly, they don't realize how limited their perceptions are. See, as I took the example of a trekker trying to summit or scale a mountain, and there's no specific path that one takes or specific route that one takes to scale the mountain. There are 360-degree possibilities that you can scale the mountain. Summit is the same. What they describe of is the same, is just that they are describing from a different standpoint. Each one is describing the same mountain, but each one is describing from a different standpoint. But when you take a panoramic view to that whole observation, you realize this, that everybody is trying to describe the same thing. So as a person, as a seeker, it's important that I gain the vision and try and see the truth which is being conveyed, than being caught up in my own perceptions and say, am I to be a Vaishnavite? Am I to be a Shaivite? Am I to be following this ism or that ism? And you said, yes, I certainly have been following the Advaita school of thought. And since you take a mention of that, as you are aware, there are three schools of thoughts. One is the Dvaita, which is dualism, Advaita, monism, and Vishishta Advaita, qualified monism. So there are three different school of thoughts propounded by the three great acharyas, Madhvacharya, Adi Shankaracharya, and Ramanujacharya. Now all these three acharyas are talking about the same truth, but they spoke from a different standpoint. So if I go beyond the apparent differences and try and understand that they are trying to describe the same truth, I think there will be a greater harmony, a greater good amongst the seekers. And I am reminded of what the great Hanumanji, looking at the different standpoints and how people find differences in their perspectives, he beautifully trying to reconcile all the differences by a beautiful saying. And he says, Deha bhavena dasosmi, Jiva bhavena tvadamshakaha, Atma bhavena tvamevaham. Hanumanji is known to be the proverbial, the greatest bhakta ever known. He was the greatest devotee of Lord Rama. And Hanumanji is telling, when I consider my body, my deha, I am your servant. When I consider my mind and intellect, I am a part of you, Lord Rama. But the crux and the beauty of that statement of Hanumanji is, he says, when I consider my Atman, you and I are one. Can you imagine Hanumanji says to Lord Rama and says, you and me are one, there is no difference. So these are the different standpoints of Dvaita, Vishishta Advaita and Advaita. So there are different schools saying the same thing. It's from which standpoint you say. So none of our perceptions should block our vision. All our perceptions should lend that vision of the truth, the totality, the Almighty, which is what all these schools of thoughts are saying.
So approach anyone, but with an open mind.
Approach it with an open mind and start to get to the truth behind it. Don't get caught up in the words, get to the spirit. The teachings are one and the same. And that's what is the wisdom that I am imparting. Nothing is mine in it. I am very proud to say nothing is mine in it. It's all belong to the great gurus who have handed it down. It is just that it has to be put it in a contemporary thought and language. That's all is our efforts.